Hello guys, so we're just getting ready for our recipe, curried sweet potato and butternut squash soup. For today's recipe, we have one butternut squash, roughly 500 to 600 grams, one large sweet potato, or two small if that's what you have available, one red onion, and 2 cloves of fresh garlic. Added to that from the stock cupboard, we require some dried mixed herbs and some curry powder. Mild strength or whichever strength you prefer. So let us begin. First of all, we need to peel the sweet potato and the butternut squash. One sweet potato, and one butternut squash. Let's just clear the peelings away. Of course, we now have to peel our onion. So there we go, just have to start to peel and finely dice. The way I like to do my onions is first chop off the top, then half the middle with the root remained on, like this. So I have a little ceramic knife and straight through like that, then straight through the root. And give it a quick peel to take off the remaining skin. So now I like to cut like that so the onion is sliced 5-6 times. Then I like to finely chop. For this I shall grab my chef's knife and just roughly chop because the soup is going to get blended at the end. If any of you know any easier ways to chop onion, please leave a comment down below and I shall take pleasure in reading all of them. So there we go, we have our onion roughly chopped. There's some quite large bits, but they'll cook sort of roughly evenly in the pan. Next up we have to prepare our garlic. So for this I like to crush down the clove to enable me to peel it. And the way I do it is I just crush clove, and that really does just incredibly loosen the skin. Just a quick peel, and sometimes depending on the cursor I can just take the root off as well, or just a wee snip like that. So for this I just slice it a couple of times, because again it's going to get all blended at the end once it's cooked. And once it's blended, just a quick few chops. Chop, chop. Scallops, just mix that with onion, and same again. Just some rough chops, just to bring out the best flavour. So there we go, that is our onion and garlic chopped. So now what I do is I add the chop the garlic and onion into a bowl, just to clear out my chopping board. Like so. Keep you at the back of the worktop. Now it's time to move on to the sweet potato and butternut squash. First it's time to top and tail the butternut squash. I like just to half it and give it another quick peel. What I've noticed is this is quite a bad butternut squash we have in the kitchen today. Quite a shame, because the butternut squash has that lovely orange coloured flesh, lovely texture as well. Makes soups taste wonderful. It's a shame we're having to cut off as much, but sacrifices have to be made in aid of appearance. Just a quick peel. That's why you always better having sort of extra butternut squash, etc. when you weigh up your ingredients. Here's that extra peel, and same again on the other half, just a quick peel. For this I'm using my little ceramic paring knife. It's quite a nice size. Came in a set with a ceramic peeler as well. Very sharp knife, ceramic. And of course my chef knife and chopping board are made out of bamboo. Well, not the blade anyway, the handle. Quite reasonable as well. What you want to do when you're buying your chef knives, you want one where the handle has the blade all the way running through it. It gives extra grip, and you want to make sure there's enough room to clear your knuckles when you're chopping, dicing, slicing, whatever you do with your knife, since it's sort of the jack of all trades. Let me just fire this in the bin and we shall carry on. There we go. So, back to the chef knife. What I like to do now is I like to slice it into sort of fingers, like large chips. Maybe, yeah, probably 5 for this size of sweet potato. And just all together. Just chop through them roughly at 1/3 of an inch. And you never really have to worry what's on the left hand side of your knife. Well, I'm saying left hand side because I'm left handed, but you could be right handed and use the left hand or whatever. But really, it's end of the day, everything's going to get blended, so it's going to look nice and smooth anyway. And just same again. There we go, that is the sweet potato then. So now we shall get another bowl and add all the sweet potato to that. There we go, that's a lovely bowl of peeled and diced sweet potato. Now we have the butternut squash. Again, I like to top and tail them, so top, tail, and stick those in the bin. And now what I like to do is I like to sort of aim straight down, like so. Then the fun bit, scooping out the inside, so you can see how sharp the knife is. We've managed to cut some seeds in half. Don't know if you can see that in the video. But now I like to grab a teaspoon and just scoop out the insides, the seeds, and so if you wish you could dry these and plant them and you may get some butternut squash, but it's never really appealed to me. I suppose you could also do other things with the seeds. There's probably loads of videos here on YouTube for what you could do with them. So it's just like a pumpkin, just scoop out all the seeds and all the sort of flesh, etc. So there we go, that is all the insides scraped out, making a bit of a mess here. There we go, let's just get rid of the seeds. Now it's time to chop. What I like to do is I like to cut off to make a nice sort of rectangle, and that leaves a sort of half sphere till the end. I'll just do that on both of them, like so. Then for this again, I would just like to chop some fingers. 1, 2, or roughly same size, 3, and there's 4 cuts, so we have 5 fingers. And instead of leaving them big like the sweet potato, I like to chop these in half again. So, just like so, and just cube them. There's 1 finger. 2. 1. And sometimes what I do depending is I might just keep them long rectangles but slice them a bit thinner so they cook evenly in the pan. Cut. And I'm just going to use the what I do is I like to cut these in sort of rings, like half pineapple rings. Just do it, I like to cut them. And if you're not careful, that'll happen and sort of fly everywhere around your kitchen. I shall pick it up in a second and dispose of it. Just finish off chopping this. And to be careful you are chopping. And sometimes what I do to avoid that is I'll chop on the other side. Just like when cutting a pepper, I always cut from the inside out, see? And sometimes it'll half in the middle, that also makes it easier to chop. And when they're small like this, sometimes I just grab the ceramic knife and just little nips. Ceramic knives are handy just for any sort of task like this. If you have any ideas what you'd like to see me cook next, please leave them in the comments below and I shall again read them and act upon them. There we go. So now we have our butternut squash, our sweet potato, and our onion and garlic mixture. Next up, it's time to start cooking. That's quite lucky, I just finished my preparation as the batteries in my camera were just about to become at the end of their life, so I managed to get them changed in between changing camera angles. So now what we have to do is we have to fire on a pot, stock pot, soup pot, whatever type of pot you have, and fire in some olive oil. I like to start off in sort of half heat, as you can see, just a quick light. There we go. So gas lit and fire the pot back on. And add some oil. I like to use extra virgin olive oil, but you can use veg oil, rapeseed oil, whatever you want. Roughly 2 to 3 tablespoons. As I like to make sure the onions are well coated so they don't start to burn. Anyway, so we have the oil in the pan, just let that heat up, so you just swirl that about, let it heat up. Then once it's up to heat we can add the onions. Just like to give it a couple of minutes just to heat up, but we have everything prepared. As seen with the first segment, we have our onion and garlic mixture in the bowl. We have our diced sweet potato and our diced butternut squash. And we also have our dried mixed herbs. And our curry powder ready to go in with some salt and pepper. I like to buy the grinders and grind my own. But that's just me. Salt and pepper and pepper. So that sort of feels to me, it's up to you. What I do is get a bit of onion just to see how long it takes to sizzle. You might be able to hear it's just roughly sizzling, so then I just like to grab the wooden spoon and add the onions and the garlic into the pan, like so. Stick that into the wash. Just like to give them a quick stir round, give them a quick shake. maybe another tablespoon of olive oil. Turn the heat up a little. Bang on the lid and give it a couple of minutes. Yeah, give it 2 minutes just to simmer away as I sauté the onions and garlic in the olive oil. As you can see, the steam's having a merry dance in the pot. And just with the lid on, just give it a nice little shake. Just want to make sure everything's coated in oil so nothing's going to burn to the bottom of the pan. So about a minute left. Just need to sauté a little bit. Make sure they're well sizzling under there. So it's been a couple of minutes. Turn the lid off. Oh, look at that steam. Beautiful. Just turn the heat down a little. Give it a little more stir. So add 1 teaspoon of the dried mixed herbs. Not very keen on dried mixed herb, but they're very convenient, so a teaspoon of that goes in. And half a teaspoon of the mild curry powder, just like so, just into the pan. Add some salt, freshly ground salt and pepper. Add your sweet potato. Add some for that, just give it a quick stir. Just to mix all the spices and flavours in. So at the minute in the pan we have some curry powder, some freshly dry mixed spices, some freshly ground salt and pepper, our 1 red onion and 2 cloves of garlic. We then add in our sweet potato and of course our butternut squash. Yum yum. That. Give it a rough shake and it's sizzling away. Beautiful. Add 2 vegetable stock cubes. It's time to add water. So just some cold water and just really enough to cover. Might need a little more then. And just add a little more on top of it. I always like to add a little bit extra water when I'm cooking because apart from it evaporating, I can always remove it before I blend it so it's nice and soup's nice and thick. As for my stock cubes, I just add 2 lovely square rectangle stock cubes. Any type will do, but I like to chuck some veg in just to make this nice vegan and vegetarian friendly because everything's all nice and vegan and vegetarian friendly. Some people make up their stock with the water before they add it, but I usually just chuck in the stock cubes and the wonder of the heat does the rest. Add that, give it a final stir. Fire the lid on, crank the heat, you want it to boil roughly for about 5 minutes, then simmer for maybe 15-20 minutes and it should be ready till the butternut squash and the sweet potato are soft enough to pierce with a knife. Hi there, Cal and Jim back in the kitchen. Anyway, our soup is now finished. As you can see, there's severely less than there was yesterday. Somebody managed to get to it overnight while it was cooking. Anyway, it's now time to blend the soup. So first of all, I have to get my stick blender out. One stick blender. So we'll just fire you into the wall and give it a blend. By the look at it, we may need some more sort of stock liquid, but we can easily add that later. It's easier to have a bit less than have too much and make soup go watery. So as you can see, that is our soup nicely blended. I can just dispose of this blender. 2 seconds. And it's now time to portion the soup up into bowls or containers if you wish to freeze. In my case, I'm going to freeze the soup, so I shall just go and grab some containers. So we have 2 soup containers, and if we just ladle it into the containers. I should just grab one more container because I think I've made enough for 3. One, 2, and this should manage to get 3 of this. And that is our pot, nice and clean. So we have made 3 tubs, or 3 portions. It's curried sweet potato and the butternut squash soup. I'm Callum Anderson, thanks for watching youtube.com/CallumJAnderson. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for regular updates on cooking videos, technology videos and such like. You can find more about me at callumanderson.me or by clicking the links in the description below. I'm Callum Anderson, thanks for watching.